Save big this holiday season. All in the Kroger app. Buy 2, get 3 free on 12 packs of delicious Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or Canada Dry. Then get flavorful Kroger Spiral Sliced Ham for $1.99 a pound with an additional $25 purchase, limit 2, all with your card. Shop these deals at your local Kroger, less than 5 miles away. Or tap the screen now to download the Kroger app to save big today. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Prices and product availability subject to change. Restrictions apply. See site for details. At Kroger, an annual Boost membership just got even better. Now you can choose from Disney Plus with ads, Hulu with ads, or ESPN Plus on us when you sign up. Plus, enjoy unlimited free delivery, double fuel points, exclusive offers, and free items. Sign up for a Boost membership today. It's an easier way to save, including new streaming options to relax with while we deliver your groceries. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Edna J. White, and you are on Keeping It Real on Purpose. And I'm so glad that you're here today with me and my co-host, Dr. Neelam Parwani. I am getting better, right? I'm getting better, right?
Yes, you are.
I am getting better.
Hello, everybody.
I am getting better. I'm getting better at the pronunciations. So this is the place.
You are.
Yes. Yes, I am a good learner. I want to stick to it. So this is the place to have real conversations that point you to your power. Topics about mindfulness, health, and healing, conscious living, personal transformation, emotional intelligence, spirituality, life purpose, and wellness in every aspect of life, career, and business. So come on, bring your fullest self for some thought-provoking talks, because today's topic is having difficult conversations during times of unrest. And I know you don't want to miss this. So Dr. Neelam, let's start talking about these difficult conversations, because you know we are in the climate for that. You know that.
Right now, in fact, in the last 1 year, this whole environment has been difficult for everybody. And this is the right topic at the right moment that we are touching it today, Edna. Difficult conversation in the time of unrest. When people are losing jobs, when people are losing loved ones, it's really difficult to talk to them. You know, the first thing everybody does if they have a difficult situation, they just close themselves completely. They don't talk at all. They all go silent. Do you also do that when you have a difficult situation? Do you talk or you just go silent?
I think I talk. I go silent for a second to collect my thought, because most difficult conversations, everyone's seeing the perception out of their eyes, the same reality out of their eyes. So I think I'm right, the other person think they're right. I don't see the problem as a problem. They think it's a problem. I make sense. They don't make sense. So it's often hard for us to see the other person, what they're saying, what makes sense. So I have to think a couple seconds and put on my...
It's always better to talk in this situation, because if you talk, then you can bring your emotions out. You can clear your head, and maybe sometimes you can get the solutions because you are talking.
Right.
But if you are not talking, you are building those things right up in the mind.
Absolutely.
It's going to make you more stressed out, more depressed, and you will be thinking continuously, but there'll be no solution to it,
Right. Yeah, I think I stop. It's not that I don't talk. I put on a different lens. What I'm saying is I put on a different lens. Let me put on this lens that I need to be open to accept or, hear what the other person is saying. So I put that on,
I do it very differently. You know what I do when I have a difficult situation? I filter the people with whom I want to talk to. So if it is related to, I will be talking to somebody else. If it's related to my personal life, I will be talking to somebody else. If it's related to something where I need a career advice or a financial advice, I will talk to somebody else.
Right.
That way, it kind of gives me a leverage to see who all are there in my panel of talking, and I can go and directly approach that person, and that person understands me on that level. Instead of just putting all the emotional pressure on one person,
right,
I can do equally among my set of people. And that really helps me.
I think that's the correct thing to do. Like when I was thinking about the vaccination, and I started putting on the thoughts of the other people. Like I heard rumors or myths about it could be like the Tuskegee Airmen.
True.
That situation. It could be like
Everybody had their own fears.
right, and I started taking them on. I started taking that on, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, but let me do for something like this. Let me take on finding out from some professionals, some scientific dialogue, things like that. I started researching and having conversations with those people that had more information than I did, so that I can make a conscious decision.
Because when you're talking to an expert, it really gives you more confidence in that situation.
Oh, absolutely. And we don't get involved in assuming the other person's intent. See, that's different. Like, when we're talking about the vaccination, we assume that the other person wants us to get it so we can die. And that's been some people's thoughts. Or they want us to die anyway. And we assume the intention of the other person. But when you get a professional, you don't have to assume anything. You have the facts in front of you.
Yeah, you have the facts, you have the neutral advice, because that person has nothing to gain or lose from you.
Yes.
So that person will give you the right advice.
Great. So what Dr. Neelam is saying, number one tool, make it safe to talk. It's okay to talk.
Definitely, it's okay.
It's okay. It's to embrace a mutual purpose and offer mutual respect. See, often when we get in difficult conversations, we don't offer mutual respect. So
we try to overpower the situation.
Yes.
Because we want to prove our point. We are so desperate at that time to make sure that the other person thinks we are right. And we kind of raise our voice, we become very aggressive, and people can see that coming from our expressions, from our tone, everything. We try to dominate the situation.
Exactly. And I know I was like that too. I was like that. I would, because I felt it was my passion. Then I had to rethink that. I said, no, I have to dial it back a couple of notches. Dial it back and say, no, Edna, dial it back, because whether you're talking in a different tone, it could be perceived as a different tone, because it is. It's perceived as a different tone.
Yeah, because the moment your tone, your expressions, your emotions change, you've actually lost the conversation. You've entirely gone on a different path. Now it's become a power game. It is no more talking about the problem and looking for the solutions.
It is. It becomes an argument. And also because having difficult conversations often involve other cultures. So you talking in a higher tone, yes, it could be misconceived as a threatening to someone else. So you have to learn.
Like right now, you're talking about your culture, and I'm talking about my culture. You're talking about your food, I'm talking about my food. But we have to understand your climatic conditions. Your food is best for you,
right?
And in my climatic conditions, my food is best for me.
Exactly.
So there doesn't have to be any argument. It is just that you're sharing your views on the different topics.
Exactly. And that brings us to tool number 2, listen. Often people listen to answer, but being a good listener, don't you think, Dr. Neelam, is very important?
Being a good listener is 80% of the conversation already.
It is.
If you can listen carefully, you just need to talk 20% and your purpose will be solved.
Exactly.
Because you have listened to everything. But if you keep talking for 80% and listen for 20%, however much you're going to talk, you're not going to reach anywhere.
No.
It'll be no conversation and arguments. That's it.
That's it. That's all you're going to get. You're only going to get just complete confusion because you're talking over the other person. You're not listening to be able to absorb. You're not listening for clarity. You're not listening for the way the person is expressing themselves, like you said earlier. And you're number one, you're not acknowledging the other person's feelings. That's important. You're not acknowledging that. And that's when the trouble comes in the conversation, when you don't acknowledge the other person.
Exactly, because if two people are talking and nobody's listening, then whom are they talking to?
You're right. Who are you talking to? Everybody's just talking. Everybody's just talking. And
Nobody's listening.
nobody's listening. Nobody's listening. And what I
Then who are
find,
ignoring you? You're just wasting your energy without any reason. And all of them are going to be dissatisfied in the end because nobody has resolved the situation. Nobody has come to a conclusion. So it's all of them will be dissatisfied. None of them will be satisfied in that situation.
yes, and some of what I try to get clarity on when I want to understand. So when someone says something to me, I said, "Oh, tell me more," because I want to understand, or help me understand what you mean by that.
You need to sometimes go deeper to understand.
Yes, because sometimes it's not what what you perceive, or and sometimes it's not how they say it. They may say it in a way that needs to be clear, and you need to understand it. So that's really important too. It's really important.
Secondly, I feel when it is a difficult conversation, your sentences should be small and specific.
Yes.
If you start giving too many long explanations, you yourself get confused about what you are talking.
Right.
And you start contradicting your own self because there's so much happening. Any which way in a difficult conversation, you're emotionally so bottled up. You want to say everything in one go. But that's the time you have to take a pause and say small sentences.
Right.
So you also think and the message goes clear to the other person that what you want to say, what you want to convey.
Right. That's very important. It is what you want to convey, not what your point is. Because you want you want to convey, and convey means a mutual understanding and respect and open listening to everyone. That's what it really is. So
somehow some situations are very difficult to handle. Like if you have to talk to somebody who has lost a loved one. Now that's a difficult conversation. Some people don't even know how to say anything in those situations. So sometimes it is just a hand gesture. You're just going and holding the hand of that person is more than enough. There you do not need the words. You just need the feelings to pass by. And that again is a form of conversation.
Right.
You just hug someone who has lost a job. It's okay. Everything will be fine. It's that hug gives them assurance. So every time you don't need words in difficult situations. Sometimes you need sometimes you need words, sometimes you just need hand gestures.
Right.
You just look at the situation and then react to it.
That's right. And that brings us to tool number 3. Like you just said, the critical component is to allow yourself to express your view and listen to the other person's view. So it's always an and, so you can have a complete understanding, so that you can move through the conversation. Because most of it, like you just said, is emotions. And then you can be able to listen and get a better view. So that's really good. Number 4 tool, learn to recognize your stories to separate impact and intent. Let's talk about that, Dr. Neela. That's very important.
That is also very important. Sometimes when we are talking about a story, we forget the intent and we only focus on the impact. Just because we want the other person to be able, we sometimes tweaks the whole story and give them something else.
Right.
Which is not the right way of doing a difficult conversation, because your intent should be clear. Why are you talking about this situation?
Right.
Why are you communication? If your intent is not clear, whatever you say, your results will not be there in that conversation.
That's right.
Because it's not clear.
Yes, absolutely. So assumption is out of the equation, because we tend to put assumption. Everything, I think, dealing with conflict and difficult things always comes with an assumption, before the behavior. So we may have maybe given off to someone like the difficult situation with the racial disparity at this point right now in around the world. We may have an assumption about somebody right before, just right before it, and this is how
we all do assumptions.
Yes.
We all lots of our assumptions for that matter.
That is right. We all have these assumptions.
We all live in a dream world where we keep assuming things about ourselves as well as for others.
Exactly. We all have and then we have these behaviors that come along with them. And then if you see someone, it's almost, you already got that up. It's like, okay, yeah. You have
It's
that.
just that before even talking to that person, you've created that
Yes.
image in your mind. And now you don't want to move from that image.
Nope. And you're playing, and it's playing over and over in your head. So when you get to the point, even having the conversation, you need to separate it. That's what I was talking about when I get into a situation. I need to separate impact and intent. So I need to separate that, and I'm that's a learning process. That's because every situation, as we were talking before we started recording, every situation is totally different, and you respond totally differently.
And the way to understand is whenever you're having a difficult conversation with someone, completely cut off yourself emotionally and look at it at a neutral perspective. Mm-hmm. Now, you are not looking at it as Edna. You're looking at it as a neutral person.
Right.
For whom I'm going to first listen, understand the situation, then I'm going to talk.
Yes.
If I listen as Edna, I already have 10 assumptions and previous experiences of the same situation. So I've already started building a story and a conclusion on it even before listening. Okay, I have dealt with this situation before, so this is going to go this way. Not necessarily everything is going to go that way.
Right.
So keep your experiences aside, keep your emotions aside, become like a neutral spectator. Right. Listen to that, then do.
You're right. You have to. Those things have to be done. And see, you just point. See, we're doing so well today. We're moving through this difficult conversation topic right on time.
We are moving easily in a difficult conversation.
Just moving through it. So it brings me to tool number 5. Use the I message. You know how we're having a conversation and we're getting frustrated. So we'll say, you keep rambling on and on and on and on and on. And you're saying the same thing. Using the word, that accusatory and blaming statement puts up someone's defenses right away. Like, whoa.
Defensive mode.
What? Whoa, what? Like, you might get someone that says, whoa, what? And walk away. Or you might get somebody that blasts you. And it's not even about the topic. Like, how could you be blaming me? And they go off on you, and the problem still isn't solved. The conflict still hasn't had a conversation. So keep to the I message. I am not understanding you. Help me to hear what I'm missing. I, not what you're not saying. Never say you, what you're not saying, what I'm missing. Use the I statement because it's not inflammatory. And it keeps the person responsible for expressing themselves, being able to speak. It doesn't give them to get them in a
that message
mode.
will also make the person understand you are taking interest in the conversation.
Yeah.
That's why you ask him.
Right.
Otherwise, you will not even ask. So this shows that you're interested in the conversation, and that's going to really motivate that person. Okay, I can confide in this person because he's actually listening. She's actually listening to me.
Right. And now that's number 6 tool. Focus on contribution, not blame. Can you talk about a little bit about that, Dr. Neelam?
Yes, contribution is very important from both the sides. The person who is already in a difficult situation will contribute with telling you everything. Now, what should be your contribution? See, sometimes we are in a situation where we might not be able to give the right advice. We might not be the expert of everything. But in that situation, what we can give them is assurance.
Yes.
If you can't give the right advice, at least give them the assurance that things will be fine. Give them the assurance, I might not be the right person, but we will look for a right person together and get this solved for you. That assurance itself, guidance itself can help a person come out of that situation beautifully.
Right. And we got to be certain that this conversation that we're going to have is worth having. You know what I'm saying? It could be just a bunch of, you thinking some way because they look a certain way, but make sure it's a conversation that's worth addressing, and it's not issues with you. That's what you got to make sure of, because I know a lot of times I have to do that. I have to make sure that I'm having a conversation. Is this going to help me to be productive and the person to be productive? Is this a conversation that's worth having? Is it my own problem? Is it how I feel and not how they feel? You know what I'm saying? Can I be lumping everyone into one category?
That's the reason we cannot just go back to our experiences and start judging that situation based on our experiences, because every time the situation is different. Because the person who's in that situation is different. That's why everything about that situation has changed now.
Right. And I find also having these difficult conversations, that the word thank you is very important to ending this, because it resolves conflict and it gives understanding.
Thank yous and sorries are very important in difficult situations.
If
you have done something wrong, there is no harm in apologizing things. If somebody is really helping you, you should be grateful, and the gratitude should come.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I think we've covered some things, Dr. Neelam. Do you have anything else that you want to say? Because I think we did a tremendous job on this subject. I think we got our eyes on the prize with this one.
I can say is, people come with difficult situations. Everybody gets difficult situations in their life.
Yeah.
The only two to come out of it is look for the right guidance and have patience.
Yeah.
These two things really work in those difficult times.
Absolutely.
Difficult situations.
Patience is key.
If you get the right guidance, it's a blessing in disguise.
It is.
Patience, any problem, any difficult situation will eventually have a solution.
That's right. So we've covered that. Having difficult conversations during times of unrest, and we are in those times. So I'm glad that we had this conversation. I'm glad that we both lend to a different perspective, and we're both, it's good to have these conversations and have ways to have them, because we talk about resolving conflict, but we don't really talk about it. We say it, but we don't, and kind of guide people through it. And that's really
We're not
important.
even open about those discussions.
No.
We need to be open. We need to start talking first.
Yes. We need to start talking. That's what it should be. Start talking about these difficult conversations. Yeah, because it's important, because even working in an office, not having those conversations keeps the walls up. It keeps the walls up. Sure. It keeps the separation going. And it may be that you have the same feelings I have, but we don't talk about it. It's like having a gigantic, like they say, the elephant in the room, a gigantic elephant literally in the room, and everybody's kind of going around the elephant, under the elephant, climbing over the elephant,
Getting their own thing. What is this image and what is that image?
And still the elephant's in the room, So it's important to have those difficult conversations and start talking. Thank you, Dr. Neelam Parwani, for being here with me today, being my co-host for the whole month. It's been really great. And
yes, because we've been talking. See, that's how we became co-hosts. We had
exactly, we did.
If we would talk with each other, we would have taken the journey forward.
That is correct. We started talking. We really did, and we've been talking since.
Yes.
So this is Keeping It Real on Purpose. Thank you all for coming. Remember, share, subscribe, talk about us, tell somebody else about us, share on your social media. We're here for you. If you have any comments or questions, you can look in the bottom of the comments, and our information for each of us is right in the comments. Thank you so much for being here with us today, and we'll see you next time on Keeping It Real on Purpose. Bye for now.
Thank you so much for being here. All of you have a great day. Bye-bye. And thank you, Edna. Thanks. It was lovely talking to you.
You too. Have a good day.
Yeah.
Kroger Delivery has one mission: to deliver the freshest food right to your door. That's why our drivers are pros. Our trucks are refrigerated. And when it comes to low prices, we always deliver. With $20 off your first order of $75 or more, there's no better time to get in on the action. Mission accomplished. Restrictions apply. See site for details. Save big this holiday season. All in the Kroger app. Buy two, get three free on 12 packs of delicious Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or Canada Dry. Then get flavorful Kroger spiral sliced ham for $1.99 a pound with an additional $25 purchase, limit 2, all with your card. Shop these deals at your local Kroger, less than 5 miles away. Or tap the screen now to download the Kroger app to save big today. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Prices and product availability subject to change. Restrictions apply. See site for details.